What's going on, everybody out there watching this? This is another edition of my Year in Wrestling videos. This is the year 2008 Year in Wrestling Part 1. I'll be talking about January until after WrestleMania, so until April. This is Part 1, as I said, the Year in Wrestling 2008. I'm going to kick it off talking about some WWE and TNA and a little bit of Ring of Honor. Again, I changed up the format a little bit of my Year in Wrestling videos. I'll only be discussing the entire pay-per-views for Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. And then the monthly pay-per-views after that, I'll just tell you the main events that happened. And for TNA, I'll only be talking about the whole event for Lockdown, Slammiversary, and Bound for Glory. And for Ring of Honor, they had a couple pay-per-views in 2008. I'll just tell you the main events. I'm going to kick it off talking about WWE Royal Rumble, which took place from Madison Square Garden for the second time. The first time was the year 2000. So Royal Rumble 08 was from Madison Square Garden. As you all know, that is the world's most famous arena, and it's basically WWE's home. It is light outside, as you can see on my window, but it's pretty damn dark out. If I turn my light off, it'll be too dark because it's raining out and snowing out, so it's cloudy. So here we go with the Royal Rumble. It kicked off with Ric Flair. If he lost, he had to retire. So if he lost any match he was involved in, Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon, made him retire if he lost. Ric Flair defeated MVP to kick off the Rumble 2008. They had a pretty good match. And it was called a career, the gimmick was, it was a career-threatening match for Ric Flair. After that, we had the debut, the WWE debut as an announcer of Mike Adamle. Used to work for years and years as the American Gladiators play-by-play guy. He was pretty good on American Gladiators, but Mike Adamle in pro wrestling and in the WWE was god-awful. He was shit. He was terrible. He couldn't even pronounce a lot of the wrestlers' names. He would fuck them up. He'd mess up a lot of their names. He wouldn't even get them right. He had no clue what any of the moves were. When he tried to do commentary, he was awful. And then when he sucked at commentary, Vince got rid of him on commentary because he did call the ECW brand for a while when it was on Sci-Fi. And I feel sorry for Taz because Taz had to work with Mike Adamle. Anyways, after Mike Adamle failed as a backstage interviewer and a commentator, then Vince decided to make him the Raw general manager. And the fans hated that. He had a ton of heat, and not good heat. Mike Adamle had heat, like go the fuck away heat. Like, we don't want to see you anymore, get the fuck off WWE TV. So Mike Adamle is in the crowd at Madison Square Garden, and he just looks completely out of it, like he doesn't know where the fuck he is. He's looking around the arena like this, like, wow, I'm in Madison Square Garden. Just looks totally lost. And then he says on the mic, tonight, Randy Orton, because Orton defended the title against, or who was champion? Yeah, Randy Orton was champion, WWE champion. Randy Orton was defending against Jeff Hardy. And then Mike Adamle, his dumbass, says, he calls Jeff Hardy the wrong name. He goes, Jeff Harvey. Jeff Harvey. Who the fuck is Jeff Harvey? I don't know a Jeff Harvey. I know who Jeff Hardy is, the charismatic enigma. I know who Jeff Hardy is. Never heard of Jeff Harvey. But obviously Mike Adamle did hear of Jeff Hardy and thought he was wrestling Randy Orton. So right there, the minute he said Jeff Hardy is taking on Randy Orton, I was like, what the fuck? This guy is already god-awful, and it's his first night on the job. And then I think he even pronounced, after he said Jeff Hardy, and got Jeff Hardy's name and butchered it. And Jeff Hardy is not a hard name. It is not a hard name to mispronounce. Jeff Hardy. And this fucking Mike Adamle, his dumb ass calls him Jeff Hardy. And then I think even pronounced and messed up Ric Flair's name and called him something else. He was god-awful. I am so glad that WWE has got rid of Mike Adamle and he no longer works there because he was terrible. So, Ric Flair defeats MVP. Up next, we had John Bradshaw Layfield. JBL defeating Chris Jericho by DQ, and this match was really bloody. JBL busted open Jericho, and Jericho bled a ton of blood, lost a ton of blood. It was very bloody, very, very bloody match. Jericho bled a lot. If JBL might have bled too, I don't really remember, but I do remember Jericho bleeding a lot. Or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe JBL bled a lot. I don't really remember because it's been a long time since I've watched Rumble 2008. Up next was SmackDown World Heavyweight Champion Edge. And Edge at the time was one of the best heels that the WWE had. And Vicky Guerrero would end up getting involved in this championship match. I believe she was a SmackDown GM at the time. Or maybe she was just married to Edge and dating him on TV, her character. Anyways, Edge defeats Rey Mysterio Jr. Rey goes for a 619. And I believe Vicky hugged Edge and was holding on to Edge, and Rey hit the 619 on Vicky, and she got knocked out, and then Rey got distracted, and that's how he lost. Up next was WWE Champion Randy Orton defeating Jeff Hardy, not Jeff Harvey. Mike Adamle, you were god-awful. If you ever see this video, stay the hell away from pro wrestling and the business that I love. So Randy Orton defeats Jeff Hardy. It was a pretty good match. It was a good championship match. I kind of wanted Jeff Hardy to win and pull out a victory, but he did not. I think at the end of 2008, he would defeat Triple H and win the WWE Championship finally. So after Randy Orton defeats Jeff Hardy, we had the main event, the Royal Rumble, 30-man over-the-top rope Royal Rumble match. Cody Rhodes was in there. He had a good showing. Mick Foley returned. He had a good showing. Who else was in it? I think Booker T was in it as a surprise. He had a good showing. A lot of guys had good showings in the 2008 Rumble. But I think he was number 30. The final guy that returned was John Cena. He made a surprise appearance, and I was pretty damn shocked. I couldn't believe it when he showed up in the 2008 Rumble. John Cena comes out, and in October he injured, I believe, his pectoral muscle, or he injured something. So John Cena was taken out. And he couldn't compete at No Mercy. As I said, Cena was injured in October 2007, I think. So Royal Rumble 2008. Cena makes a surprise appearance, returns magically. Super Cena somehow made a return in being out of action for only 2 or 3 months. He healed, I guess, his shoulder or whatever surgery he had done. Super Cena, as I like to call him, Super Cena returned and wins the 2008 Royal Rumble match, last eliminating Triple H. And it came down to Cena and Triple H, and the crowd at Madison Square Garden was pretty behind Triple H. But a lot of fans popped, and pretty much a lot of fans marked out when Cena returned. They gave him a good reaction. Even though now, when Cena goes to New York and wrestles, Cena is usually booed out of the building. But in 2008, he was pretty much cheered when he returned. Oh, my cat is crying at my door. Guess I'll open it. Benny. Here's Benny crying. You want to eat? Oh, that's all he wants to do is eat. Anyways, back to Cena wins the Rumble. Goes to WrestleMania 24, but he wouldn't get a singles title shot. He'd be involved in a triple threat match with Triple H and Randy Orton at WrestleMania 24, and they would have a pretty good three-way. Now I'm going to talk about WWE No Way Out. In the main Royal Rumble 2008, if I give it a rating, I would say it was 8. It was a pretty good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. No Way Out. The main event was for 2008. No Way Out. First, John Cena defeated Randy Orton by DQ. The main event was Triple H winning a Raw brand elimination chamber match. Last pinning Jeff Hardy to win. So Triple H wins, I think it was a #1 contender last man standing match. So Triple H wins, goes to WrestleMania, and gets a title shot with John Cena. Man, what are you crying about? Quit crying. Annoying. Interrupting me, man. You're interrupting me. Go downstairs. Go to sleep. I apologize, but animals, cats, are going to be cats and do whatever the fuck they want. I can't stop them from crying. So that's No Way Out. 08. Pretty good pay-per-view, mostly because that elimination chamber match on No Way Out. And then eventually, February would become the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view event. I think in 2009 or 10 they came up with that. Now to TNA's 2008 pay-per-view, which was Final Resolution. The main event was TNA World Champion Kurt Angle defeating Christian Cage. They had a pretty damn good match. Against All Odds, of February 2008 TNA pay-per-view. The main event was Kurt Angle defeating TNA World Champion Kurt Angle defeating Samoa Joe. Eventually, Joe would finally win the TNA World title at Lockdown 2008. But against all odds, Kurt Angle got the better of Samoa Joe and retained the world title. Now to Destination X, which was TNA's March 2008 pay-per-view. The main event was Team Samoa Joe, Kevin Nash, and Christian Cage defeating the Angle Alliance, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, and Tyson Tomko. Or they just called him Tomko in TNA. Now I'm going to talk about TNA Lockdown, which took place in April of 2008. It usually always took place in April. Now, TNA Lockdown now, in 2016, is just a special TV event that they put on TV. So Lockdown kicked off with X Division champion Jay Lethal winning a Six Sides of Steel escape match. So Jay Lethal wins it and retains the X Division title. Roxy, the Knockout Roxy, won a Queen of the Cage, Knockout's Queen of the Cage match where she would become the #1 contender for the Knockouts title. I don't know if she had to escape the cage or just pin another knockout, but Roxy wins a Queen of the Cage match to become the #1 contender for the Knockouts title. B.G. James defeated Kip James in a 6 sides of steel match. I believe every single match at Lockdown 08 was in a cage, wasn't a 6 sides of steel. I'm still not a fan of the 6-sided ring, even in 2016. I mean, it was cool when TNA debuted it in 2004. I enjoyed this 6-sided ring in 2004 to 2010. But I was happy, actually, when Hogan and Bischoff got rid of the 6-sided ring, because it was enough already of seeing it. It wasn't special. Seeing the 6-sided ring is not special to me anymore. It's just pretty lame, and I don't care about the 6-sided ring. That's not why I even watch TNA. I watch TNA because I'm giving them a chance, and I'm still a fan of theirs. And I hope they do good. And their ratings get higher and higher every single week, so they don't get kicked off of Pop TV. Back to Lockdown, which was up next. We had Super Eric Young, Super Eric. That character was pretty lame. I did not enjoy it. Super Eric and Kazarian defeated and won a cuffed in the cage match for a future shot at the World Tag Team titles. Who'd they defeat? I don't know. But they won a cuffed in the cage match. Gal Kim and ODB defeated Awesome Kong and Raisha Saeed. Raisha Saeed, if you don't know who she was cheerleader Melissa. You're asking yourself, maybe, who is cheerleader Melissa? Well, look her up. She is a damn good female wrestler. She was in Shimmer for a long time. I don't know if cheerleader Melissa is still wrestling full-time. I don't know. Cheerleader Melissa is probably still in Shimmer. I'm not sure, but my guess is she probably is still there. She's a very, very good wrestler, very good, talented women's wrestler. Cheerleader Melissa was Raisha Saeed. If any of you did not know that watched TNA. So, as I said, Awesome Kong and Raisha Saeed lost to Gal Kim and ODB. Booker T and Sharmell defeated Bobby Roode, who was known as Robert Roode at the time, and Peyton Banks. Peyton Banks was also from Shimmer. At least Peyton Banks used to work in Shimmer, and her wrestling name was Rain. So she was in Shimmer as Rain. Part of, I believe, the Minnesota Home Wrecking Crew. So Peyton Banks, she was a pretty attractive woman, pretty hot chick. She was known in TNA as Peyton Banks, but she was also in Shimmer as Rain. And she teamed up in Shimmer a lot with Lacey. So Booker T and Sharmell win. Now, we had I believe, Lethal Lockdown cage match. Team Christian Cage, Kevin Nash, Christian Cage, Rhino, Sting, and Matt Morgan defeated Team Tom Cole. Tyson Tom Cole, that was his WWE name, but I still call him that. Tyson Tom Cole, AJ Styles, Team 3D, and who the hell is Devon? Team 3D and James Storm were on Tyson Tom Cole with AJ Styles. They lose to Team Christian Cage. It was a good Lethal Lockdown match. Most of the Lethal Lockdown matches were pretty good in TNA. At least from Lockdown's history, most of the Lethal Lockdown matches were always pretty entertaining, and they had weapons in the cage, so most of the guys bled and got busted open. That was pretty entertaining. To see like a steel cage match and they lower the roof and bring the weapons down that were hanging from the roof. It's always a good thing when you get a steel cage match with weapons in it and it can get bloody and violent. I'm a fan of that kind of wrestling. Not garbage wrestling, I'm just talking about some hardcore wrestling with weapons and some blood. Main event was Samoa Joe defeating, finally, he was well deserving of being TNA World Champion. He was in TNA since, I think, 2005. Summer of 2005, so this was 2008. Samoa Joe finally wins the TNA World title and defeats Kurt Angle in the 6 sides of steel. It was great. I was really happy for Samoa Joe that he became TNA World Champ. So that was Lockdown. Now I'm going to go back to see if Ring of Honor had a pay-per-view before WrestleMania. Ring of Honor's Take No Prisoners pay-per-view, or maybe it was just a big show, but I think it was on pay-per-view. Take No Prisoners took place on March 16th, 2008. The main event was, before the main event, you had Bryan Danielson, known as Daniel Bryan now, in the WWE, even though WWE probably wants a lot of us fans to forget who Daniel Bryan is because they don't want us cheering him, and they don't want him to return to the ring for some reason. They don't want to clear him. And they should be clearing Daniel Bryan because they need to put him on WrestleMania 32 to help sell WrestleMania. Anyways, not saying WWE, I mean, they could have Daniel Bryan never return and they would be fine. Their business would do just fine. They don't need him. But I would like, as a Daniel Bryan fan, I would like to see Daniel Bryan wrestle again. If it's not in WWE, then I want to see Daniel Bryan go to Japan or go to Ring of Honor. Or even go to TNA. Even though I don't think Daniel Bryan would go to TNA because he probably looks down on TNA. He'd probably go to Ring of Honor over TNA. So Bryan Danielson defeated Austin Aries. The main event was Ring of Honor heavyweight champion Nigel McGuinness defeating Tyler Black. If you don't know who Tyler Black is, he came from Ring of Honor. I'm sure he's in the Indies before he was in Ring of Honor. Tyler Black is known as Seth Rollins now, so that's who Tyler Black was. In Ring of Honor, he is Seth Rollins. Same guy, just WWE had to change his name so they could own the rights to his name. So that was Ring of Honor's Take No Prisoners. 2 damn good matches. Bryan Danielson defeating Austin Aries, very good match. And World Champion Nigel McGuinness defeating Tyler Black was also very good. Eventually, I think in 2009 or 10, Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, would eventually win the Ring of Honor World title. That was great. Back to WWE's. I just talked about No Way Out 08 before I talked about TNA. Now I'm on to WrestleMania 24, which took place March 30th, 2008, from the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida. There's been a lot of rumors that I've read that Orlando is going to get a WrestleMania again. Orlando, Florida is probably going to get WrestleMania 33 or 34. They'll probably get another WrestleMania because Orlando is really pushing to get another WrestleMania because they want another WrestleMania. WrestleMania kicked off with Kane winning a 24-man interpromotional battle royal to earn a shot at the ECW World Championship later in WrestleMania. WrestleMania pay-per-view kicks off with JBL defeating Finlay in a Belfast brawl match. It was a decent street fight. Hornswoggle got involved. It didn't really last that long. JBL wins, and it was a decent street fight. Next, we had the Money in the Bank ladder match. CM Punk wins the Money in the Bank ladder match. You had Jericho in this. Jericho was the IC champion. He just defeated Jeff Hardy at a Monday Night Raw. I think it was even in my hometown of Milwaukee. I think Jericho defeated Jeff Hardy at a Raw in Milwaukee before WrestleMania 24. I was there. I have the ticket to prove it. I guess I'll get it out and prove it and show it to you all. I'm crying, man. I'm crying about. Come here. I'm crying so damn much. You want to appear on camera? There. He doesn't have a give a fuck. He's on camera. That's Benny. I've shared some pictures before of my cat Benny. So maybe you've seen him in pictures. Come here. Here he is again, live. Quit meowing. Here's my ticket to Raw from March 10th, 2008. Here's my Monday Night Raw ticket. To prove that, well, I was there. Yeah, I think it was a WrestleMania Rewind edition of Raw. I think. Undertaker was there. That was cool to see Undertaker live. Even though I saw him live before 2008. Shawn Michaels was there. Big Show and Big Show and Floyd Money Mayweather were in the house. Big Show, where he picked up one of Floyd's bodyguards or one of Floyd Mayweather's posse. Big Show picked him up, pressed him, threw him over the top rope. That got a huge pop and a huge reaction in the arena. So there it is, Raw from March 10th, 2008. Monday Night Raw. I was there live. Some hot Cheetos. Best chips ever. Best junk food ever. My favorite right here, Flaming Hot Cheetos. Just thought I'd share that. Not that you should give a fuck, but whatever. Maybe you enjoy Flaming Hot Cheetos also like I do. Back to WrestleMania. As I said, Jericho defeated Jeff Hardy for the Intercontinental Championship, I believe, on Raw. I said it, I think it took place at that Raw from Milwaukee on March 10th, 2008. Jeff Hardy had a job and basically was punished, had to lose the Intercontinental Championship and drop it because he failed a drug test, I think for marijuana. Marijuana was found or something. I think it was for marijuana or maybe some other drug, I don't know. Anyways, Jeff Hardy had to serve a 30 or 60 day suspension because he failed the wellness policy drug test. So he failed, so he got punished by dropping the Intercontinental Championship to Y2J. Jericho has had the Intercontinental title the most, for at least, he holds the record for the most Intercontinental title reigns. So Jericho was in Money in the Bank. He was the Intercontinental Champion. Carlito was in it. John Morrison was in it. Selton, or I don't even know if that's how you say his name. Selton Benjamin. I'll just call him Benjamin. He was in it. I have trouble saying Benjamin's first name, but whatever. He was in it. But CM Punk wins the Money in the Bank ladder match for the first time in his career. In 2009, WrestleMania 25, CM Punk would win Money in the Bank again and go back-to-back years winning Money in the Bank. I was happy about that because I was a huge CM Punk fan back in 2008 and 2009. And I was a pretty big Punk fan until the guy left and decided to that he's had enough with WWE, and the guy was burnt out. Obviously, CM Punk was burnt out. He was tired. I'm sure he was sick of being on the road. He was fed up. He wasn't happy, so the guy left. Or if you don't think he left, the guy just left because he's burnt out, and but you could also say he quit. Whatever. So, CM Punk wins his first Money in the Bank ladder match, and later in 2008, he would actually cash it in and win the World Heavyweight Championship. Batista next defeated Umaga. This match really had no build, not much hype, whatever. Batista wins. Kane defeats Chavo Guerrero Jr. in like 10 seconds, I think. I think it was like 10 seconds. Kane defeats Chavo Guerrero to become the ECW World Champion again. Vince fucked up and failed the ECW brand because first he had to give the title to the Big Show, and then Bobby Lashley was an okay champion, better than the Big Show. And then Vince had to become ECW champion, and then Vince had to make Kane ECW champion. Really? That was lame and just stupid. Up next, we had Shawn Michaels in a career-threatening retirement match. If Ric Flair lost, he was forced to retire. Shawn Michaels taking on Ric Flair. We all know how much Shawn Michaels grew up respecting and loving Ric Flair. A lot of us did. Ric Flair was like one of Shawn Michaels' mentors in the business. So Shawn Michaels was the perfect guy, in my opinion, to defeat Ric Flair. If it wouldn't have been Shawn Michaels, you could have had Triple H defeating Ric Flair in his career-ending match at WrestleMania. At least this was Ric Flair's last WrestleMania match. But he would go to TNA in 2010 and wrestle a little bit. I think he competed in, I don't know, like 3 matches maybe in TNA. This match for me is a long time Ric Flair fan. I was emotional. When it ended, Shawn Michaels super kicked Ric Flair, covered him. Then Shawn Michaels was hugging Ric Flair. Ric Flair was obviously emotional. Ric Flair's an emotional guy, we all know that, but I mean, when the 3 count took place, Ric Flair was already crying because he loves wrestling that much. So, after Shawn Michaels leaves the ring, gives Ric Flair the spotlight, Ric Flair gets up, stands in the middle of the ring. The guy got a standing ovation from like over 70,000. Ric Flair deserved that standing ovation. Probably, my opinion, Ric Flair is probably one of the greatest world champions of all time, especially as a heel. But you could even say Ric Flair is probably one of the greatest heels of all time in wrestling history, especially when he's part of the Four Horsemen in the 80s. So Ric Flair gets standing ovation. He walks up the entranceway, very long entranceway that WrestleMania 24 had because they were in a giant football stadium. So Ric Flair walks up the entranceway to the back, and that's when I broke down. I got emotional and I started crying like a baby. Tears of joy and tears of sadness that Ric Flair was retiring, even though it was his time to retire. But whatever. Even though Ric Flair shouldn't have really been in the ring anymore, I still didn't want to see him go. That's why I broke down crying, because I respect Ric Flair that much. And it was sad to see his career end. But at least he's still around on WWE TV today, so that's a good thing. At least I still get to see Ric Flair, and at least I get to still see him cut some promos on TV sometimes. So, Shawn Michaels defeats Ric Flair. That match was a highlight, in my opinion, of WrestleMania 24. And Undertaker winning the title. I closed my door because my brother just got home. Anyways. Up next, Beth Phoenix and Melina. This was a lame Divas tag match nobody cared about. Beth Phoenix, great talent, hell of a worker, very good women's wrestler. She was better than even Melina. Melina and Beth were better than this. They deserved probably a one-on-one match against each other. But they put them in a team because they wanted Maria and Ashley Mazzaro. They teamed them up because they were Playboy cover girls. So that's why they put them together. Anyways, Beth and Melina defeat Maria and Ashley in a Playboy Bunny Lumberjill match. Next, we had the WWE Championship match. It was triple threat. Randy Orton defended his title against Triple H and John Cena, and Randy Orton wins and retains the title. Shockingly, I thought Randy Orton would have lost, but he did not. Or at the time when I was watching it, I thought Randy was going to job and lose the title, but he retained it. And that's something we hardly ever see, is a champion, especially a heel champion, retaining their title at WrestleMania. Anyways, now on to Floyd Mayweather. This match was called, I believe the gimmick was the biggest versus the best, or something like that. Floyd Mayweather came out, jumped the barricade at No Way Out, got in the ring. Big Show basically wasn't scared of him. Big Show got on his knees, and Floyd punched him a whole bunch of times in the face and actually broke the Big Show's nose. So that's pretty funny. So that set up their match at WrestleMania. It was a Floyd Mayweather, for not being a wrestler, the guy is a pretty damn good entertainer. And he's definitely hated as a heel. He was hated already, and he didn't even have to do anything. Coming into the WWE, he was already hated. So Floyd Mayweather, for his first ever wrestling match, if you would call it that, Floyd Mayweather did a pretty damn good job putting on an entertaining match with the Big Show. Floyd gets out brass knucks, knocks out the Big Show, pins him 1, 2, 3. And it was a no DQ match. Main event now was The Undertaker getting a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. The Undertaker defeats Edge to win the World Heavyweight Championship, to continue his undefeated streak at WrestleMania. Undertaker wins, pyro goes off, WrestleMania 24 ends. It was pretty good WrestleMania. If I grade or give it a rating, not a grade, a rating, I would say WrestleMania 24 was a 8.5 or 9, because Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, and Undertaker winning the championship. You also had Floyd Mayweather involved in a match. That was pretty entertaining. Cena, Triple H, Orton, that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. Triple threat. All three worked pretty damn well together. So this ends my year in wrestling 2008 part 1. I don't know when I'm going to do another year in wrestling. Probably in a couple days. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the Year in Wrestling 2008 Part 1, everybody. Follow me on Twitter at TNA WWE Guy and at NXT WWE Guy. Also, if you don't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like and share my videos. Bye for now, everybody.